All right. Good morning, everybody. We're super excited to have Jim Franklin from all the way out in Denver, Colorado, on our show this morning. We're excited to have him on the show, and he's been with the VREB program for about 4.5 years. He's a big user of it. He's a veteran, so we're excited to have him on the show and give him kind of a chance to share some of his experience out there. So Jim, good morning. Great to have you on the show, buddy.
Good morning, Eric. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this opportunity to share some great things that are happening out here in Denver.
All right. Well, appreciate that. Well, I guess, I'd like to start out by saying that he's in the Denver, Colorado area, and he can kind of define that area a little bit more. But he's with a firm called RE/MAX Alliance. They're a big power player out there. Colorado, Denver is a home to RE/MAX corporate as well. So it's kind of like RE/MAX country out there. But he's out there and he's a team leader for a team called the Colorado Dream Team. So I'll let him talk about that in a minute. But we also, want to hear a little bit about your time in the Army. You've got to be a great guy if you've served in the Army. I mean, that's clear to me. So I want to hear a little bit about that as well.
Thank you, Eric. I really appreciate it. I had a great time in the military when I served. Actually served in the Cold War over in Germany. I missed the wall coming down by 9 days. So I was ETSing and came home and the wall came down. But it was a great time. We had great relationships with the German folks over there, and just spent my time over there.
Awesome. Yeah, sure. Germany was a great place to be assigned back then. I spent a few years there, and I will tell you what, it was a blast. Going over the border, the different places, Belgium, Holland, France. It was quite an experience for a young man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah, I loved it. I was a military police officer, so I was a road cop. So it was a lot of fun. And like I said, we worked with the German police over there. So it was really a good time with it. Built those really long lasting relationships.
Nice, nice. So tell us a little bit about what's going out in that Denver, Colorado market. How things look out there right now.
So really, things are looking good for sellers right now. We're back into a multiple offer situation, but that shouldn't scare your buyers away, because I got one of my buyers who happens to be a vet, that we just literally made a very attractive offer and very aggressive, but it was only $5,000 over the list price. So it's not like 100,000 or anything like that. But the average days on market right now is about 11 days. Now, just to give you an example, in January, it was 38 days.
Okay. Okay. So things are definitely speeding up out there. And you're definitely in a hot market, because there's quite a few markets right now that aren't seeing the multiple offer scenarios. But like you said, that really shouldn't scare you. It really comes back to getting an agent that knows what they're doing.
Exactly. Looking to see what their specialty is and if they have any designations.
Right.
I've got a few designations, and that just means that I furthered my education a little bit further, just so I can be a better negotiator and I can be better rep for the military personnel.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And not all agents are created the same. Not all agents have the same work ethic, background. And the public sometimes think, well, if you're a real estate agent, that you're the same as agent A, B, and C, and that's not the case. It's like going to a brain surgeon. They didn't all go to the same medical school. They haven't been doing as much brain surgery. So you need to find a great agent. I do want to talk just for a second, because I want to clear the air about now is a good time to buy a home. I mean, we understand that rates are higher than what they were a year ago, but they're not going to stay high. You have the ability to refinance in the future, but right now the inventory is not bad, and you don't have as many buyers beating on the doors of your sellers as you did, a year ago. So I mean, is that kind of what you're kind of understanding as well?
Oh yeah, 100%, Eric. I mean, now is a great time to buy. You want to marry the house. You want the house that you need for you and your family and your loved ones, but you're not married to the rate.
Right.
You want to marry that house and you want to be happy in that house.
Right, exactly right. And it's better, I think, to go after when you have the inventory, and have the selection, so that you can marry the right house So you're going to be in that for a while, and you got to love it. If you dislike your home, that's a bad way to start.
Yep, exactly. So know the location, make sure you love the neighborhood, the commute, everything. Look at that and marry the house. The rate, you're just dating the rate. You're just making sure that everything's going to be okay. So yes, sum it up. This is a phenomenal time. We got some inventory out there. We're starting to see those numbers increase day by day, and we're excited about it.
Nice, nice. Well, the good thing about a VA loan is that you can actually do a streamlined refinance. They call them an URL, but it's really an interest rate reduction. And it's very, very easy to do. Very little fees. You don't need a new appraisal. You don't got to go. You don't have to go through all the same qualifications. It's very, very streamlined. And as the rates reduce, as long as there's a net gain to the veteran, you can reduce that rate through your lender, and you can do it very easily.
Yes, most definitely. Some people are worried about, well, should my sellers take this VA buyer? And I try to talk to them, and I'm like, I do my own house in the VA. I love the benefits of it, but also I educate the other side and say, hey, this is a solid offer. Don't worry about the appraiser, because we can take care of little things very easily. And I'll even help them say, hey, we need a wall plate on here. That's it.
Right.
Little things to take care of it.
Yeah, and for those who have watched our podcasts or seen our blogs, I mean, one of the biggest thing that we preach is get an agent like Jim that understands veterans and understands VA loans, because unfortunately there's agents out there that try to talk veterans out of using their VA entitlement, which I think is criminal, and for a whole host of reasons. But get a veteran that understands it, because often the listing agent, the one representing the seller, doesn't understand VA loans, and they're scared of it. When you don't understand something, you're scared of it. And so they shy away, and they tell their seller, well, you need to take that conventional deal over that veteran deal, because those VA loans are tough. So you need a guy like Jim in your corner that can go in, swing in, understands it, explains it, and really educates the listing agent and the seller.
Yep, 100%. So there's nothing to be afraid of. And this is what I talk to my buyers. There's nothing to be afraid of when we're going out there and looking for a house. But more importantly, I talk to my sellers day one before I ever put the for sale sign, that, hey, we may have a VA buyer that comes, and I educate my listing people so that they understand that this is going to happen and it's okay. It's nothing to be nervous about.
Right, exactly. I mean, are there any other insights or advice you can give veterans buying with the VA loan?
The biggest thing is getting your paperwork and all your paperwork in order, right? I mean, we're all from the military. We all have a file, and we all do things a certain way. Make sure that everything's ready to go, and then get that lender. Most likely your realtor is already partnered with a VA powerhouse. Mine, she actually served in the military for 9 years. So her and I just work really, really well together. So make sure that whoever the lender is, they really understand and dive into that VA. So then you got all your paperwork in order. When you go out there and start kicking dirt with your realtor, it's a piece of cake. We put in an order, put in a offer, and we just go for it, and we can still close under 30 days.
Right, exactly. And to clarify, the VREB network has a lot of lenders that understand veterans, understand VA loans. So we can also help as well. But Jim's advice is very clear, that you got to get that certificate of eligibility. You got to get, understand your entitlement, and get a lender to make sure that that's all straight before you go make an offer. Because the last thing you want to do is make an offer and find out your eligibility is all hacked up, and it's going to take 90 to 120 days to fix it. Because now what you just did is you just lost the house. No one's going to sit on it that long. You've ticked the agent off, so you probably lost the agent, so on and on and on. So get your stuff done up front. We can help with that. The agent can guide you in the process as well. But that's super important to get your, the eligibility lined up in place and understand it up front.
Yep, 100%. I love it when they have all their ducks in a row, and the lender calls me up and says, hey, Jim, they're ready to go shop. I'm like, right on, let's go. Let's go kick some tires.
Right. And that's the best place to be, because I have found over the years is that buyers that are comfortable with their numbers, and when I say by that, I'm talking about they understand sales price, what they can afford, are much more comfortable and can look at a house more objectively than sitting there worrying about, can I afford what I'm standing?
Yep.
So I think that's human nature. No one wants to be embarrassed, and you don't want to be standing in front of your wife or husband and then not knowing if you can afford the house, and have your wife or husband going, this is the house I want, I love it, Jim, make this happen, and then find out you can't afford it. That's not a good position to be in.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling for everybody. It's kind of awkward, right? So having all of our information, having the intel backed up, ready to go, signed, sealed, and delivered, then we can make that attractive offer and really go after the home of your dreams.
Right, right. That's exactly right. So Jim and I both agree, and combined, we probably have 10,000 years of real estate together. I mean, we're that old. But the point is that you got to get in front of a lender. You got to get your numbers straight. You got to get them to pull your credit, get your income documents, get your sales price nailed down, but also get your VA entitlements and get that all lined up so that when you hit the street and you find that perfect house, A, you're standing in a house you can afford, and you're comfortable with the payment, I think is most importantly. And secondly, you can pull the trigger, and a guy like Jim can make that happen and get it closed in 30 days. And then you can actually close in the house that you want and not have to restart a few times.
Yep, exactly. I think that's the best advice for any buyers out there. And I'm just going to throw something out there, Eric, because I think it's important. When we're listing houses, that we're having the conversation with our clients saying, listen, we may have a VA loan come in. I don't want you guys to be scared. We need to educate the sellers too.
Right.
So yes, we do a lot for the buyers, 100%, but we need to educate those sellers that may not be veterans that, hey, we may get a veteran offer.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And I don't think as a real estate industry, we do that enough, because a lot of agents don't understand VA loans, and they can't have that discussion with their seller. But part of our mission at VREB is really to educate agents. It's why we have that course that we have our agents attend, or take, so that they can have those discussions, because ultimately it's the seller that makes the decision. It's not the other agent. The other agent advises, but if the seller's working off of bad advice, then they're going to make a bad decision. I mean, that's just, that's common
Yeah,
sense.
I love that course you guys put together, Eric. I mean, that is phenomenal.
I appreciate that. And we make every agent that is not a veteran or has attended one of the other national courses that attend that course, only because we want them to understand veterans. We want them to understand their loan programs, and really be able to explain it. So I think, we're constantly on that mission. But yeah, listing agents have to do a better job, explaining to sellers VA loans. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard sellers push back. Well, I don't want to take a VA loan because they're too hard to work with. I mean, they're no different than any other loan, I mean, so it just doesn't make sense. But it takes an agent that can push back and explain why that's not the case, and not be shy and go, oh, you're right, so
Well,
I think that's
the
important.
biggest aspect of that, Eric, is just like I said, educating the sellers, right? But just saying, hey, these are benefits that these service members are given from our country to you, and we should honor that.
Right, exactly it. And so I think if it's explained like that, it makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
to the vast majority of sellers. It's not a freebie. They're not asking for a favor, that they've actually served our country and earned it, and now they're trying to use it. I mean, they have defended the house you've lived in essentially, and now they're asking to use their VA loan. They're not asking you for a favor. It's
Yeah.
like, so
Great point, Eric.
yeah, I think those are all good points. But we really appreciate your time on the show. And I pulled up your account. I took a look at your reviews, man. Your reviews are off the chart. I mean, the veterans love this guy. I think it's because he's bald headed. Actually, I think that's why they like him so much. But I might be partial on that. But your reviews are off the chart. Takes great care of his clients. I mean, runs a team. Colorado Dream Team. Jim, what's a good way for veterans to get in touch with you out there in Denver?
I have a team number out there. It's 720-371-0212. But you can also Google me, Jim Franklin, Colorado Dream Team, and you will find me on there all over the place.
Yeah. So he's all over the internet. You can Google him. You can also reach out to www.VREBnetwork.com. And we know how to reach out to Jim as well. But he really is the go-to guy for veterans in that Denver market, and that's a pretty big market. I mean, that encompasses a lot of area out there. But it's beautiful country, and so he's a great guy to reach out to. And so again, that's Jim Franklin, Remax Alliance. He's out in the Denver, Colorado market. And you can Google Jim Franklin, the Colorado Dream Team, or you can also reach out to www.VREBnetwork.com. But we appreciate you listening. We look forward to work with everybody in the future. And as always, if you have questions, you have concerns about your entitlement, you're not sure where to go, reach out to us. We've got a team of agents like Jim all over the country. We've got a team of lenders that'll sit down, run your numbers, make sure you're all straight, and kind of put you on the right path. And we also have some free courses that you take as well as that too. So, but I appreciate it, Jim. Thanks for being in on the show, and we look forward to working with you here in the future.
Thank you, Eric. I do look forward to working with you guys. You have a great day.
Thanks, bud.